More Than Rich podcast. We back with Chris. What is this, your third or second?
I think this is my third.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right. But
yeah.
I don't know if you had an official second, though. You probably just had clips cut or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one might go out in full. I actually finished all these Patreon updates for like perks and stuff, like to give people incentives to join. Don't know if I'm going to do it yet. I feel like a piece of shit if I charge people for things, but we'll see.
I know a lot of people are doing that now. So
it's just like I want my really secretive stuff that, like, if people really want to know my secrets, like, I feel like that is worth something, you know? Like all the things I've studied and...
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, you pay for shortcuts almost to try to learn the knowledge. Like
if really, if you really believe I know something, right, you would pay for it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people need to try things on their own too, and then whatever works for them, it's like, wow, okay,
touché.
Well, I wanna also take it to the next level. You know,
for sure. I guess you probably come here once you've already run out of options or you've tried everything. Then, you know, that's the point of looking for help.
Yeah,
in general,
you got to be open and vulnerable, and that's hard.
So yeah, I was texting my dad, dude, super crazy. Like, I was like, "What's your favorite Rocky movie?" He said 1 and 2, which I don't remember any of them, honestly. You said, what's yours? Is it 4?
I do. Okay. Well, obviously the first one, you have to remember the first one. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't win.
Nice. I love how there has to be a comeback for a part 2. I love it.
But that was the point. Is like he wasn't supposed to last even the whole, 12 rounds. You need to watch it. I don't want to sit here and explain it.
That's cool how movies back then were almost episodes because there were so many of them.
Well, yeah, but the thing is I don't think, because it was actually a very low budget movie. Like he was gonna sell the script, from what I've read. Like,
oh yeah, I forgot.
And he didn't. He said he wanted to be the actor. But 1 and 2 is good. But I really
that's interesting.
4 is probably
But to be real, that boxing was really shitty acting.
Well, I to be real, it doesn't really matter because that shit was badass. That shit had everybody hyped back in the day.
They did fight differently too, though, back in the day.
They really hit
right?
each other.
But back in the day, it was a little different. Like, it wasn't as, like, coordinated defense. It was a lot of full-on attack, right?
Well, yeah, you want to,
like kind of instinctual killing almost, right? Not so much defense. You know how basketball was like freaking metal cages and bleeding? You know what I mean? Boxing was like a kind of primal sport too at some point. Remember the gloves weren't that padded? Yeah,
but to your comment, it's like everybody has their own style, like Muhammad Ali.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Was graceful, and Tyson was graceful too. But Tyson was a little bit shorter, but that was fine because his power and his moves and everything.
It's interesting you said that.
Like, but you know what I mean? If he tried to fight like him, which I'm sure everybody has mentor. You know what I mean? Like what you want to look up to, or at least aspire to be in your mind, even though everybody has flaws. And that's the biggest thing is like it's okay to fail, and not a lot of people. Actually, like they talk about failing, but they really, you know what I mean? Like until you actually fail, then you grow.
That's real.
Real.
And it's funny because I've always known that like I just need the slightest of a little thing to do a big difference and stuff. And I never do it. You know what I mean?
Are you waiting like on an external push?
Nah, dude.
Or like a factor, I mean?
Dude, I'm like, I hate it. I self-sabotage myself. Like I'm actually really responsible, but I like to a detriment will put myself in situations so I can't do shit anymore. You know what I mean?
It's like that quote. So we send each other crazy quotes every once in a while. And I think everybody should do that. Check up on your friends, just make them laugh. Cause really I do appreciate that. And I'm sure you do mine, like real shit. And especially you young kings out there.
Power of memes. It's kind of crazy.
It really is. Like stay strong and check on each other. Even if it's your enemy. But, like at least you're checking. But no enemies, just joking. But
I mean, that's a quote, though. It is a real quote.
No, but the one I sent you about we struggle more in our imagination than in reality.
I hear that so often.
But you do it, and I know I do it.
I'm worse than you are.
Everybody does it.
I'm way worse than you, though. You're the one that has to tell me that.
Well, yeah, sometimes. But you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
We both like said everyone needs space too, so it's like
You know what's funny is you have the irrational fears of shit that's not going to happen usually, and then mine is like the in detail of everything I did wrong and replaying everything kind of.
oh, I definitely have
Where
done that.
it doesn't even matter. Like nobody even cares type of shit. I'm so freaking dwelling in my own mistakes.
I think it's more worry about what could happen than like obviously like you said you keep replaying it because it's like we can't go back anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's the hardest part is when you go back, you're like, oh, I would have done this. And it's like, well, yeah, you didn't, you know, you learn from it now, but like the chances of that happening again. And even if it did, you might not know if you did the same thing.
For sure. No, you're right.
I know that's.
No, that ties into, it ties into time travel a little bit. Cause it went off into my head where like they say you can go back, but you can't participate like in the sense of changing it. You can be there and witness it, but you can't like alter it.
Yeah, no, like the butterfly effect
Yep.
and everything else. And then you said the other day, you're like, if you can go back, would you talk or would you go? What would you tell yourself?
Yeah,
and I was like,
dude.
And then I said,
I really thought about that by myself.
You had an answer though. I was like,
what did I say? I don't remember now.
You just said like, I don't remember. It was like it was a funny answer, honestly. But I said, man, I don't know if I would because I'm already here and I know where I want to go for the first time. You know what I mean? Like I really do. Damn. So it's like, if I told myself when I was 13, 14 years old, you know, this can
you
happen.
still might not listen.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. You still probably wouldn't because it's just like your parents telling you.
It's the learning experience, right?
Yes. Damn. Experience over knowledge. And that happens when you're young because all you want to do is experience it. People could tell you the right answers, but all you want to do is experience the shit or the stuff. I'm sorry. Damn. And, you know, when you get older, you actually do want to help the younger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the younger don't want to hear it because they feel you know what I mean? Like it's so give and take.
Yeah, it's totally don't tell me how to live type of shit.
Man, it's crazy.
And it's like, I'm really not, but here's some tips for proceeding. You know, it's not how to live, but this is useful for later.
There's a lot of those. Yeah,
because I've accepted that no one's going to fucking change. The best thing you can do is like plant the thought, you know, and hope that they do something because no one really does.
You got to want to change. It's not like it's
not even so much you want to change people though. I think it's more of like, hey, here's another perspective and you can view this differently instead of being so stuck in like, this is how it is. It's how it's always been. Like, why though? So my quote, my dad was like, I asked about the Rocky thing coming full circle. He was like, I went to see that with your mom in Dallas. I took a plane and it was all my money from work that I had earned. Like, I guess his whole paycheck. And I'm just thinking like, it blew my mind because I'm like, here I am making every excuse to not pursue someone. You feel me? I was like, because I'm not at a place in my life where I think I can. And it's like, dude, it's like, whoa, I just like had a curve. My own dad was like, I'll do anything for love. And here I am like, Jesus, afraid of everything. Thinking I'm doing the most and not understanding. And then I'm like, wow, this all makes sense. You got to do some crazy shit.
The only thing that's constant is change. And
yikes.
And from what you said, like that's what love took back then. You know what I mean? You did some crazy shit. And nowadays love is a little scary. So, you know, you're either all in or you're not. But, you know, too many people half-ass it.
Yo, that Ram Dass quote was crazy though.
I mean, like, you got it in you, man. Like, you know, you do. Just because your dad did it at whatever age or whatever. Same thing with my dad. It doesn't matter.
Our parents were even younger. Our parents were younger. Yeah. Like, here's the crib, here's the kid.
Do you think your dad was doing as good as you are, like, at your age now? Like, by himself? Like, imagine being by, like, that's the big thing, too.
It's touche. Yeah.
It's hard, like...
Well, what's crazy is, like, my dad did, like, economic planning and, like, running for, like, positions in the city. And I'm over here like, damn, had I been older, could have had... He barely lost races type of things. And I'm the creative one of the family. And I'm just like, dude, could have marketed you. If it was today, I could get you anything. You could run right now and I could make it happen because I know the type of person he is and his knowledge, you know, like economics is pretty crazy. Like
the fact you're doing all this, dude, I don't know how to do all this. You know what I mean? Like we all undervalue our actual abilities.
So like my dad doing that and then caring about like city and change and driving around the streets and being like, why is this light out? This pothole still isn't fixed and things like that when I'm a kid. And then my mom being like a speech therapist and like teaching people and like with the empathy of like, let me give you a skill, bro. You know how weird it is for my mom to be approached years later and the kid can speak and they're just like so grateful, like, hey, like happy to see you because you gave me the ability to talk to people, to communicate. Like that's telepathy. People don't know that we're making these little mummers and sounds and this is telepathy, bro. We're freaking vibrating frequencies to get our point across. And people think, no, it's this. What this shit is communicating images. That's how like when you're thinking of something, you sent me the image. I'm like, are you talking? Yeah. You know, like you're visualizing it. People think in words and then there's people that think in images, but like you can do both.
No, 100. I mean, you're right.
Like when people reference something, where did I put that thing? And you think about the spot and you visualize it. Bro, my psychic ability lately is weird to where like I'll just like reach somewhere and I know where something's at. Like weird, intuitively in my car. I don't just put my hand somewhere and I'm like, I didn't know that was there, but I just had this feeling that it was there. You know?
But were you looking for that?
Yeah, I was.
Like you're just.
I was. I'm like, where's my? And I just like, what the, you know? Or I'll look for something in my crib and I'll open a cupboard and I'm like, there it is. Instantly, when I thought of it in that moment, though, it appears. It's the slight things, though.
You're going on. So, I think with the mom and dad thing, I think you have like, you know, it's the same thing. We're, you know, if a baby's in crying and you don't pay attention to it. You got to see your parents help people, and they still do. And like legit, your mom is changing lives, but your dad's probably saving lives too. Potholes and these lights and people safety, dude. So it's like you know, like, and as long as you're helping, it's good, and that's nothing but good aura and good karma to be around. And that's probably why you want to help people and, you know, do this stuff and just everything. You know, you care about the general world, and that's hard to find.
Yep.
Like really, like, you know, I say I do, and I do.
I mean, that's
like,
why we are in this nonprofit though, because we're trying.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say try and all this and that, and you try, but you know, there's always going to be judgmental. And
I mean, I say try is the beginning of something. Do you know?
Yeah, that's true. But you know, we try to have peace.
That's why they say when they say it's not enough to try. It's because you're at the beginning still. You still didn't execute. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I know what you mean about execution, because it's like
because I'm sure
army can teach you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to reference. Like somebody saying that that's all they've got, and you're like, no, it's not though.
And then but it's you find out you really, you find out that you can really
like
do
what you're actually deep down type of pull from somewhere you can't go normally in any other situation. But you know what's weird though? They're simulating your feeling though, because I was trying to tell you like, hey, you never really went through like those serious situations in military that you're training for all the time, high stress. Like they spend a ton of money to simulate scenarios, right? But it's crazy that you're also simulating like the emotion deep down, even though you're not actually in danger. You know.
I got one for you.
Go for it.
So Dunker School, we had to go for the 160th. It's SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. I was in 160th Kentucky, Fort Campbell. Look it up. There's a Dunker School. I believe that's the only one they had. They might have one in Georgia because there's 3 bases. But anyway, I don't want to go off a tangent. So doing that, you know, you have to simulate a helicopter crash submerging in the water. Now, before you just do that, you have to make sure you actually know how to swim.
Yep.
Then before that, you got to do it with equipment on. Then you got to go a certain distance across the pool. Then you got to act like you're in the pilot seat or the crew chief.
So it ain't shit at first, or it's still pretty hard at first?
I mean, it's still pretty hard, but like, you know, you're physically tired by the time. And the next, I think.
Oh shit! I thought this was like coming back the next day.
No, I don't remember honestly how many days it was, but I think it was like a couple. You know what I mean? Like most people know how to swim pretty much.
Yep.
You know, for real. But I mean, like being in a chair, and then there's 2 people on each side holding it, and then they turn you over slowly. and I never really experienced it, but like actually having the water go up your nose upside down.
Yeah, it's annoying.
You know what I mean? Like make sure you hold your nose, but then, you know,
and then your ears, and that's
everything. But they actually have, you know, they turn the lights out. They have a big ball, and this is like a
what scenario is this? What are they simulating? Like in case of a
crash going down in the ocean.
Oh my god,
dude! It was pretty intense and pretty cool, like at the same time. Dude. But I didn't think, you know, like going through it, because you have to do it twice.
Can't tell you what comes to mind first. Swimming is kind of like don't panic. That's how you learn to swim, right?
Yeah.
Don't panic.
And now you're gonna be
conserve your energy. That's it.
Now you're in one of the most like realistic like imagine that. That's probably one of the most stressful things that could happen, flying and going down.
Yeah, and then that's also one of those moments where I was trying to say, this is probably what brought it up, where I'm like, you can escape at any time. That's like, yeah, good luck. They're trying to train you to know that
like literally
life and death are here. You have to
know where you're sitting at and where the handles are for the ejection.
Yeah.
And then when you get up, you know, because they simulate everything. It's like a night storm. They have like a big black ball that simulates waves.
So even though you know the steps of what to do, it's still hard because of stress and tension in the moment, right?
But like, I mean, it is hard, but like everyone's doing it.
You know what's the scariest part though? Let's really think about this for a second. You're in a helicopter. You go down in the middle of the ocean. That's what comes to my mind first. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Forget even getting out of here. It's fear immediately of like the idea of middle of nowhere ocean.
So what happened? I mean, it is like, yeah,
that's what you're supposed to not think about though.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
It's terrifying, and it would be even more terrifying if it was just you.
Yep. True. But, oh my God.
But what you're supposed to do is like, it was at night, like they turn the lights off, they simulate rain, they simulate lightning and thunder, they simulate the waves, they simulate us going down, and basically you guys get out, but they have instructors in there just in case you can't find the windows. For sure. But there's times where you literally like
you mean like divers kind of thing? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I've seen people throw up water. Like I've you know what I mean? Like I drank some water before. I think you know what I mean?
A few seconds, yeah.
Oh man, it's a stressful situation. But when you get up and submerge, then you have to locate your battle buddies, you know, everybody. Where's your buddy? You know what I mean? And so then you start locking arms.
The worst thought is I didn't get enough air. That's the worst.
But I'd rather, it's the same thing like going through the army. The suck, man. It's like, and it wasn't all that bad looking back at it, but going through all we did was, you know what I mean? Bitch and moan. But every veteran I talk to now is like, yeah, that was some of the great, you know, I mean, for the most part, don't get me wrong, some of them old school guys really did some crazy shit.
Well, when you think about it, you're getting paid to do that too, you know? Like if you went in there thinking this is going to be Six Flags, it's a little different.
No, dude, no. Man, that's kind of, look, man, that shit was so fucking... Exactly. Like you think, you know, you're like, oh, okay. Like
every day is gonna be another roller coaster. Man, you feel me though? Man, dude, you gotta be positive.
No, you like I get it. You know, you're like, oh, I know how to swim. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be not.
Whoa! On these rides you're talking about flipped upside down. That's what it sounds like.
It's a lot harder to swim. Like everyone thinks they can swim in a pool. Everyone can swim in a pool. There's no waves. Imagine 10-foot waves trying to crash on you, and you're trying to get your buddies. But hopefully your helicopter.
That's real.
But hopefully your helicopter has. I mean, in all helicopters.
That's what's nuts about surfing. Surfing's crazy. Like you fucking hit some break or like where it's at wrong. If you don't know where the waves crash correctly, it's like good luck. You get under a tide incorrectly, you just get washed. Like what?
Those waves are strong,
and you never know because most people have their board attached to their leg. You never know where just a freak accident.
And they use that on purpose as a buoy.
Yeah.
Just in case you can't get out from.
For sure, that's nuts.
I'm telling you, bro.
Have you ever been like caught in a riptide or like swam and got scared? That feeling.
You know, I don't tell many people this, but this probably actually like altered my shit and why. Like even when I was younger with my cousins, where there were dogs coming at us, attacking us in the woods, and we had they ran away after we beat some ass. But my cousin Neil, like everyone froze up, but I hit the fucking tree and was like, "Come on, we got to fucking fight these things," because a lot of people do freeze up. You know what I mean? And I figured I was like, "Oh,
that's what gets you attacked, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't that how you get attacked?"
No, they were coming at us, but I'm so fast that you like it was coming out and you fucking got shook because most people get shook. They're like. And they don't know what to do, especially an animal. Person, Okay, maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
different.
But
an
but
animal
but
doing
won't
that?
they attack us when you freeze? Like that's what I was trying to say. Like
Shit,
now,
I
now
don't
you're
know,
now
bro.
you're
We
not a
were-
threat.
I don't
you
know. My point is that we were kids, right? And
Scared it off.
I remember us having sticks, and I looked at my cousins, and they froze up a little bit, and I hit the tree and was like, "Come on," you know, and it snapped. I was like, "We're gonna beat the shit out of these dogs," and you know, whatever happened. But we were getting attacked, so it was like fair game. But my point is that you know that's something that's not instilled in everyone, and it noticed that like my fear, and I'm not trying to brag about it, but this same story relates to the one I'm about to tell you. When I was about I don't even remember 3-4 years old, we all went to a lake or a river.
That's really young, by the way.
We went to a river, and me and my cousins were like looking. It might have even been 5. I don't know. I gotta find out. I will for you next episode, guys. But ask him, Scott Ochoa, Neil Ochoa. I don't know if I should say that. Might want to blur the name.
Hurry up! Tell me the story.
Okay. I fell in the river, bro. Like trying to get shit. And apparently, you know, something could have happened, but I wore like a puffy jacket. And so it kind of like a life jacket kind of just souped me up. But I went down the river for a minute because they like, you know, obviously my parents were around and they seen it. But I also remember that my aunt and uncle being there and everybody else. And they were all like, oh shit. People were like running down the river trying to catch me and shit.
What?
Yeah, bro. When I was a kid.
Damn. I kind of have something like that, but I don't remember it. You remember this one though? Was it
Yeah.
Was it traumatizing?
I mean, I don't remember it that much, but
But you remember going
down. I remember doing it a couple times, and then I've always loved the water since.
But
It's
do you
weird.
remember being scared and going down this thing, or no visual memory of this at all?
I remember falling in, but I wasn't scared.
Ah,
It was weird, but like I remember it obviously, like subconsciously,
yeah.
like and it happened. You know what I mean? But
Who saved you?
I don't remember.
That's a big part.
I know.
Yeah, my dad like skid on his knees, and I was like falling down to this bottom of this water. I think I was 2, and he like skid on his knees and pulled me up and stuff. Like I think
See?
we're at some hotel.
But I'm telling you, like, how old were you?
2, sink into the bottom, just
What were you doing? You just were like walking,
just
by?
walking off on my own, and then just bloop.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. I don't even remember.
It's one of those. I don't remember that either because I was so young. But like, it's one of those that your parent reminds you because they almost lost you. They're
No,
like,
really, yeah, because like I can't, dude. From like, it's almost like shit gets wiped out sometimes because it's like ding.
It's not a good memory at all. Anyway,
It's like 5 from 5 or 6, 7, 8 younger. I don't remember shit besides Chuck E. Cheese.
and isn't that
you know what I mean? Like real shit.
But
real
what's
shit.
crazy is they say how much that influenced your personality. That
I
those
know.
and,
Yeah,
and you
that's
don't
my-
even remember it.
That was my point.
Why am I like this?
That's my point. That's
And
my
motherfuckers
point.
need to go get some like hypnotherapy for that reason. Let me get my like regressions of like my childhood trauma. I've never done it, but I want to.
But you know, going back to the helicopter thing, it was like I didn't even relate that until now. I'm looking at it. It's like wow. Totally conquered fear. And it wasn't even like I was scared of water. I loved water. But you know what I mean? Like deep down, subconsciously, I guess that's why I've always been scared of the ocean. Like I'm not scared of like I am the ocean.
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
no bottom. Like, you know what I mean? Like what is down
For
there?
sure. It just swallows you and you're nothing. That's my only fear with water, dude. Like for as calming as it is to be around it and look at it, it's so overwhelming at the same time, you know?
Oh yeah. And it is the key to life.
For sure. I
Which
think
is even crazier.
what's nuts is how much I love the sun, but I don't really fuck with sand. Like I get like I don't mind it. I'll put up with it, but I'm just like I'll avoid the beach because I don't care about the sun. Or I mean the sand. Yeah.
Well, it comes with the beach. No, I'm
Like
just-
like I guess I'd rather go to a lake, you know?
or a pool.
Yeah.
I've never really liked the lake because I mean, yeah,
Hot
because the lakes are
tubs.
like, I mean, huge lakes are cool, but most lakes and most rivers get stagnant, especially if they're not running. And people trash nowadays, like, you know what I mean? The ocean, don't get me wrong, is bad. That's
Even-
why I'm just trying to do pools.
Even then chlorine isn't even like a natural thing, right?
I get it.
Weird.
You know, it's one of the. I mean,
We need to go find some waterfalls and some springs and some rivers is what we need. That's
That's
probably
like-
as natural as it gets,
yeah,
huh?
like the springs and like the natural springs and then like the hot.
That's a
springs
way
and all
nicer
that
way
shit.
to appreciate water,
Oh
huh?
yeah.
Because you can actually move amongst it and stuff, right? Like with it.
Like, can you? A lot of people. I've never been.
That's why
this
all
cold
these
water.
civilizations lived along rivers, you know?
What's that?
Literally.
Oh no, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what are you saying? I was like on the ocean shit still. I was like, wait, why are we talking about? Okay.
And all the stuff was sink to the bottom, so I'd imagine you're just grazing the top to drink your water, you know, of the river. It's kind of interesting.
There's a lot of bacteria that stays at the top too.
You know, a lot of
That's why you have to boil your
lot of
water. Don't just drink it.
a lot of stuff I've been wanting to write lately that's like savage lyrics. Man, it's like things I've been studying from my like cultural heritage on how they used to live, and I'm just like, whew, like Indians were fucking the first ones that just really like so many gods, bro. And when you think about gods, it's like you're really just appreciating each thing individually. So it's funny to think like one Egyptian god was like, all right, enough of all that, focus on one now. And one god now. It's like, did we lose our way in a sense by not having the same appreciation for each individual thing? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I theorize.
No, you're right. But, you know, like maybe that's the way they were brought up too, was to acknowledge every single thing as a gift. And that's good. That is good. That's very good. But at the same time, it's like
sun god specifically, you know, there's different gods.
This is why wars start, is like, because that's what they followed. And then there was somebody on the other side that was like, oh, this is what we follow.
Yeah.
And it's controversial. So
I guess my point was the Indians did a lot of ritual sacrifices, dude. Like,
hell yeah,
like so much blood and like bodies and bones and skulls, and just like we had to appease the gods. And I'm like, geez, let's assume your world is correct at the time. I'm like, did it work? You know, like
that is a good point. It's like, well, is that like, if it was correct, like I think that's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
Is like, is the idea
there had to be a reason.
Correct? Like, yeah,
had to be a reason they kept doing it. If it worked one time, right? A few times in a row. You know, who came and communicated that this is what like
what they were doing all those mushrooms and acid and stuff, and say they were communicating.
And to think like at some point in history, in your timeline and lineage, there was cannibalism. So somebody ate somebody. Your family ate someone for you to be here. You know, think about it. Another human had to be consumed for your life to exist. It had to happen. It had to. We didn't have a choice, you know?
I don't know. I think my family might have been herbivores. We're not that big.
Wow. Wow. Says the meat eater.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get big. But
it's crazy. It's last resort as hell. Oh, that's just that one. It's fine.
No, but I mean, really, though, it's the same thing you're talking about. Like, who was the first person to be like, let's eat this. Oh, man, these berries are on point. These berries are on point. You know what I mean? Like, really, who is it? Like, and especially the poison berries. That person
for
was
sure, because you didn't even know if what you
like,
were eating was bad for you.
Like the first guy, you know, that you were envious of that found the raspberry, you know, the envious guy was like, oh, I found these little other red berries, and those are the ones that just he was telling everyone about. And the next thing you know, your whole clan just.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That is a trip. Yeah. Trying to think, what else were we talking about? About your wizardly magic powers and shit?
I don't have magic powers. I just believe manifestation is real. It is.
I just ordered some selenite.
Oh yeah.
You know,
talk about that. No, I don't. Go ahead. I know. You know what I want? So Naruto fans. Sorry, I call it Naruto, but Naruto is what it's actually called. Sorry, Texas.
Wow. Oh, and I ordered some more Orgonite. I'll give you some.
There's some pendants in there that the first Hokage, which like I said, you need to watch the show. And I'm wondering what it's actually like supposed to represent and made out of.
Probably just life force energy or something.
A lot of them, well, some of them are different colors and stuff, and some of them have like, you know,
elements perhaps.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if it's the same thing, like, you know, why people wear crystals, because it looks like
because you know,
like they look like they're crystals.
You want to know the
like
truth? You want to know the truth about my crystals?
Yeah.
So it kind of comes from RuneScape a little bit, and then it comes from my favorite rappers also. So like RuneScape, you would wear medallions and pendants and stuff, and they all did different things. Like if you wore a ruby, it was a strength amulet. You know, if you wore amethyst, I think it was like a prayer amulet. So it was just like, I liked the idea of medieval times and like wearing these things around. That's kind of what, you know, like right now. And I know what they do. Like most people, you would ask, like, what does it represent? And I'm like, well, I know the aquamarine is for my throat chakra. You know, like it helps me express my. It helps me
something chakra.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need
to get my point across, to speak better with clarity. Like I know what the actual crystals do, but my point is the selenite. They used to use it for like windows in Greece, bro. Is nuts. Like a crystal was used for like to produce more light and to produce a different type of glow. But but it's used for everything. Like it's basically the wand. Like if there was one crystal that you probably should try to get into that does so much, it probably is just selenite, and it's just like a glowing light piece. It's like light. Like these things are alive, and it's crazy because I lose some of my crystals sometimes, and they're living things that are like looking for their own home. It's crazy. Like you just have to accept that it was its time to part with you.
So on that note, I believe like the same thing, like movies kind of give you a glimpse of what have happened in the past or the future, you know what I mean? And a lot of these crystals, I don't know, there's an old movie, it's called The Dark Crystal, but you know, you can watch Indiana Jones and the rocks. Like there's always the people taking the crystals for the power.
Yep.
And it's kind of ironic that they really do have powers. Yeah. So there had to have been,
well,
maybe not had to have been, but you know, it definitely makes sense that there were stones back in the day that,
you know what it's like? It's like you over here. That's like, I've been drinking tea and don't know why I can't sleep. Well, sometimes you're wearing the wrong crystal and don't know why you're manifesting the wrong things. You know,
you're right. No.
It's like you had caffeine in there, Chris. You're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, after taking all that ZMA, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be cussing. Not really.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I made a promise to someone I wouldn't cuss. So, but
I don't even know if I've cussed yet.
I don't think you have. You've
nice.
Had
I'm on a good roll.
You've had proper etiquette. That's why I was like, but
breaking the rules.
No, you're right. You know, and it's simple things like that. It's like literally, Chris, why are you not losing weight? Oh, because you were drinking alcohol. Oh, wait, why are you doing this? And now everything.
Dude, I actually had lost a little. I was starting to lose hope on you a little bit. Be honest with you. Like I just assumed that was your thing.
Drinking.
That you were just like into that, and that was like a product of what you'd been through or something. I was like, man, you really can't help somebody that's just over it. But at the same time, you're also strong enough that the very few times that I've wanted to drink, you're like, I'm good on that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it alone.
But I was at the point where I liked doing it alone.
For sure.
And it was like,
I mean, I've been there. That was my high school days.
Dude, but I also think that a lot of veterans, if there was one thing, it's alcoholism. Like, you know what I mean? I think a lot of us,
gosh,
I don't know if it's like a suppressant or it's just like dealing with the shit. You know what I mean? Like,
what else? There's just so many other things that can make you feel good. That's what drives me nuts.
Yep. But you know, like you gotta like I tell you all the time, man. You're not just suffering or like, you know, not suffering, but you're not going through anything that you're going through right now. There's gonna be an end to like, but you got to be willing to change and actually have that mindset and put it out there. It's like, well, you know, look at anyone you look up to. I'm sure they had an addiction that they had to overcome.
You know how many conversations I used to have with you, like you were like completely slurring, but still making sense.
When was this?
Like we'd be by the basketball court and you'd be completely gone.
I don't remember.
And still want more and like take one to go type of shit.
When was this?
Dude, I'm telling you, this is the type of person you were drinking. I'm telling you, this is who you were. And I'd be like impressed. I'm like, dude, how is he still going? Like he's already gone. He's not even here, and he's still making cohesive conversations too, but slurring every word. But I understood you. You know what I mean? But it was just like, dude, this is also my point of like, I don't judge people. Like I don't care because I know different like you were saying about mushrooms and shit. Like different lineages, bloodlines, DNAs. Like we all have different like ways that we inhibit and take and digest drugs. I'm just saying drugs in general, right? So like there are people that can drink a lot more and handle their alcohol way better, and I'm like, that's cool. Maybe you don't get the same feeling that I get tomorrow either, you know?
And I think that's the biggest thing is people try to like, you know, be like,
it's
I feel
super
like this
easy
on this, so now I can relate
Hell
to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
bro. In the same way I'm drinking coffee right now is the same way someone's going to the bar tonight. Like how am I gonna judge you? Like
them things.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
That's funny. Let's talk about that.
No, wait. Okay. Well, go ahead. Yeah. Because I already lost my train of thought. I was just gonna say I'm not alcoholic anymore, but I definitely was, and I definitely went to AA, and. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's been a long time since I had a drink.
And just say there's no shame in fucking getting help. That's it.
No, there's no.
If you need other motherfuckers to hold you accountable, that's cool too.
I think that's the biggest thing too. But you also gotta like promise yourself, like it's better. You're better than that.
I think it's a pride thing though, dude, because like a lot of people won't call somebody when they're gonna do something.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like call somebody and tell them you're gonna do it. Call anybody and tell them, dude, I'm about to do this, and they'll probably be like, no.
It's like
that's it.
It's like.
Look how far you've come.
When you actually get to that point, it's like a reward. Like,
sure.
Like all day, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do this when I get home.
You're right.
And I know if I take this many at this time,
but
I'm gonna start feeling good. Like I knew if I took 2 anyway.
But
like
here's the thing though, is like either way I think about it like that, because now I only want to drink when it's an actual celebration. It's an actual reward. It's still a reward, you know. It's just like super seldom, you know, maybe a couple times a year, 3 times, 4 or 5. I don't know.
And they've been drinking all throughout history.
Yeah.
That's what's real crazy.
For sure.
That's a strong ass, like.
I would even argue, bro, that I should be having a drink or 2 before I make music. I would honestly say that, and I don't, but I should. It'd probably be a lot more creative
with it. Try it. You never know.
I wasn't a big fan of Wale, but he'd always be like, there's some gems in the alcohol. I remember following him on his early years on Twitter, and I'm like, you know, I consider Wale an intellectual, even though he's not really the highest sought after rapper in terms of his sound.
I always and you're right, and I don't know much about rappers, but I used to always wonder why they called alcohol spirits. I was like, man, maybe it like attributes to like actually seeing shit.
Well, if you know what alcohol means, it gets even deeper.
Well, and see, we can keep going. Yeah. Episode 4, guys, y'all got to check it out.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say about the
just caffeine?
The coffee or the caffeine?
Yeah, just the other day you were just like, you basically had a basic latte, nothing special.
I had a shot or whatever that shit is.
Nothing special.
I don't drink coffee.
And I'm over here just like looking at you confused. You're like, this is what y'all do this for? Is this why y'all are on this every day? Like,
man, I was like, man, dude.
All confused. And I'm like,
yeah.
Doesn't do that to me anymore, but
But that's what I say, man. I don't do it every day, but you know,
I was just so like dumbfounded because I've never seen anyone be like, this is why people drink coffee.
It's like literally crack.
Yeah.
It just keeps you up.
I just did like a double blink, like poink.
I just drank, like in the army, you didn't get no espresso shots. You got some hard ass black coffee. It was like, okay, this shit's kind of, you know, like I'm like, this shit's just water and, you know, we're not, obviously it's coffee, but I was like, whatever. I'd rather just drink water in my Camel pack or whatever the fuck. Damn. Or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I noticed the only time I really drink the amount of water I need is when I work out. I've
been killing waters. Like, I think
it's really good for my skin though. No, it's good for my skin. I've noticed it for sure.
It basically just flushes you constantly of every toxin. So it's basically like the pure, like it's literally cleaning you out.
And one of the symbolisms for my turtle is I'm supposed to be conscious of water. Sorry.
No,
you're right. No, you're right. I'm the one that corrects everyone, and then I did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
See? I just knew. The only reason I said that is because tortoises can't what?
Live in the water? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but his little bath is so funny, bro. He gets all anxious, like I'm gonna drown.
Or you know what? I bet you they could swim a little bit, but not far distances.
Yeah, that's why
turtles can. They got the
for sure.
They got the
little fin flings.
Yeah, and he's got the what? Dinosaur legs.
Yeah, they're weird, like claw looking things. You're actually supposed to trim their little nails. It's weird.
He's wanting you to know.
He's annoying.
No, he's not, dude. That's your spirit animal.
Nah, he'd be annoying.
Just like mine is Hercules the fox.
Wow. I love it. He is a fox though. That was the animal I wanted as a kid. Like I used to watch so many videos like, well, how do you domesticate it? People have them.
I was looking for him.
You know what I mean?
Your star fox.
It's right here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. But you know, but you're right. I don't know. The first guy was like, hey, I'm gonna bring this. You know what I mean? Like every day, just trying to like. It had to be closer than that. It had to be like Jungle Book type of thing.
You know how basic the idea of getting rich quick is? Like back in the day, like if you just knew if we get this spice and sent some people on this ship and brought it back, our generations of children are going to be set. Like that's drug dealing 101. Do you feel me? Like if I just did this one load, this one drop, everybody's good for life.
When do you think they first thought that thought? Because I think the first humans thought like the way we should think now.
The best example.
Every day is we're lucky to be alive. Old humans, like we're lucky to be alive. This is a treasure today. Like, well, yeah. The hard part is we got to figure out how to fucking survive. But you know what I mean? Like they weren't thinking the way like you're saying. Like, oh well, if we trade this, then we'll be set.
But men and women don't even think about time and money like that, you know, like differently. Like a man is over here like, how do I take care of future generations? Look, one of my favorite quotes from Aristotle, women
do that too.
I'm going to butcher it. Well, nah, women are better at relationships, forming and communicating. But one of my favorite Aristotle quotes is like, has to do with courage and basically is trying to imply that Courage is so important because if you can identify that in the group, that person can sustain everyone. If you can find someone that's courageous, that's a sign of like a whole civilization that can kind of be born out of one man, technically. You know, like that bravery keeps everybody alive. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, real shit, man.
That's as heavy as it gets.
I think that's why everyone should work out.
Well, I mean,
like really though.
That's
like,
why
you want to be your last name.
That's why the giant man would have soldiers, and you're like, I'm gonna take care of him because he can lead and like whatever, like.
And he can beat your ass.
True.
That was a big part.
It's just nuts, the idea of like we don't have to go grab our food anymore. It's just like there. So we have to force this like I know, but like the simulation aspect of like, let me go kill my body real quick because we really have to torture yourself and it's uncomfortable as hell. Like, bro, I hate doing abs. I kind of like it. I hate doing abs. It's so annoying. You know what I mean? And it's like the best shit I got.
I mean, it's annoying after. I'll tell you. The only time it's annoying is when it's after the workouts. It's like, oh, because we just did like an hour or two and then you got to go do that. But right. Honestly, like, I don't know.
I'm just like,
I'm at the point now where this is addictive. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I get the addiction out.
I guess my point though is like the idea of I'm going to purposely torture myself though. You know, I don't have to. No one has to do that.
That's a good thing because a lot of people think like I'm gonna go to the gym and get strong as fuck, you know, and then they start ego lifting and people get hurt. Mm-hmm. But really, I don't remember. It was somebody I think you sent me, but relating on what you just said, basically you go to the gym to train. Actually, you don't go to like, you know, work out.
Yep.
Like you actually go there to train your body to sustain this pain. Like, okay, if I actually have to carry somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, okay, I'm going to work arms out. Like, yeah, you should do that if that's what you want to do. And, like, you know.
Can I tell you some dumb shit?
Dumb?
Yeah, it's kind of. Ooh. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up right here.
No, that's what it was. But you're good.
Nah, basically, I had a situation where a manager kind of threw me under the bus, right? I'm not going to speak specifically, but.
I think.
Yeah. But my point is that when I had a conversation with the higher up, and they were like trying to reference that manager and speak about how they were toward me and stuff, I literally spoke nothing but highly about them. And it made me think, I was like, I wonder if that'll ever get back to them. Like, or maybe they were in the room and overhearing it. Because I really wondered, I was like, she's not the problem. Like, that's not an issue, blah, blah. They've always been great, you know? Like, I had your back. Just know I had your back when you talked shit. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And that's
hard to do.
I know, but I didn't know I was doing it until after. That was genuine, bro. That was genuine.
And because you did that, only good things are going to come out. Like, that's literally your consciousness. Like, you know what I mean? That's a good heart.
It's like, I acknowledged my mistake, but just know if you were after me, it's all good. Like, if you were out for me personally,
it's all good. Like that too.
I still like you. I thought you were a great person. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to do that. See, it's an insecurity thing where people go into defense, bro.
Yep. Well, not just that, but like you just said, like, basically you're fine with, like, I know a lot of people that literally just straight up, you know, they might be friends with somebody and then instantly something happens and you can't relate. Then they're instantly like, they're not even like how you should just end it the way you said.
It's like you must adapt.
They instantly start going at that person.
Because they don't adapt to them, right? Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well, this person, I'm going to cut them off because they're negative now. And it's just like, well, just because it was one comment, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, especially chicks. That's why I say girls are moody as fuck. Like, they feel one way and tomorrow's another. It's like, you good? You fine now? Like,
I get pretty moody.
Yeah, mine's like
INFJ.
Mine's only when I'm sleepy though. Like when I'm actually.
Well, yeah, because you're also on like team no sleep.
Yeah, but when I actually need it, you know, like I'm cool with the delusional, like up for 12 hours, but when it starts to get like 18 to 24, I'm like, all right, it's getting stupid, you know.
We used to play army games like that in basic training.
That's my natural body rhythm, though.
They wake your ass up, and then all of a sudden you go back to sleep, and they wake your ass up.
Here's the thing. Let me blow your mind. When I used to make music 2016 for free with my best friend, and this was just all for fun, his thing was just like delusional sleep. And I'd be like, dude, I'm so tired. I just want to go to sleep. And it would be like 2 a.m. to like, and he'd be like, nah, I'm going to get a 30-minute nap, and we're going to go right back to this shit. But I knew deep down, if I didn't hold him accountable, he's going to crash, right? So I would have to wake him up, and I would have to be pissed, you know? But it's just funny knowing like how far you could really go and then you look back and you still wish you did more with the time anyway. You know, like I was crazy and I still wish like I could get back and go do more with it. So no matter what, you always want to do more with like what you could have done. It's crazy.
You can't think like what you could have.
For sure.
Think about what you can.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
real shit, bro. Like and
my point. My bad. I didn't even get to the point. My point was the idea of your brain's gonna get REM sleep. And one of my favorite theories that I heard, it was on a pod, was like, this is a sleep scientist, saying that your dreams kind of collide with duality, like they mesh into reality, because your brain's always going to get the REM. So I was like, okay, so maybe the delusional tired will force what I want to happen, but it obviously takes work. You have to still keep going toward what your goal is, but you can blend that reality of your dreams into the real world. You know what I mean? Because your brain's getting the REM. Whatever you're dreaming about, that you're supposed to dream about, it's still dropping it. You know, it's still making it happen even if you're awake.
But then it just throws in the characters of reality
slowly, like over time.
No, I see what
How did that happen? You know, like, well, you worked toward it. You didn't just fucking stay up all night. You know, it takes effort. Like anything else. It's like the quote I say of stirring the pot. When we're at the gym, at least we're making something in the universe act up and come toward us and shit.
I'm telling you,
because when you're sitting down here and
even this right now.
Yeah.
Who knows watches this? Hopefully, you know what I mean? Like more people follow, like real shit.
That's the sad shit, is Pac's quote about being the spark. If I could just be the spark for one person, and I'm just like, damn, like that's all you want
for millions.
Yeah,
and
for
billions.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. And it's not even so much about like, what can I do? It's like, you just need to make sure everybody knows the importance of doing something. Because a lot of people walking around with no purpose, bro. It makes me so sad.
That's what they were talking about. Like once you find that, then your life just starts to remember. But you know, it's hard to do that because the reality is most people don't want to say that they settle.
That the quote, when you don't have a purpose, you seek pleasure.
Short idea.
Real shit. We can end on that. You want to go to the gym?
Short idea. Yeah, no. 100%.
Purpose over pleasure.
Let's go.
All right, more than Rich.
We out.